Four levels of knowledge. Week 34, day 3. Four levels. Coach, we had this before. We know this. Okay, what are they? Well, I don't remember them, but we had it before. How many times do you have to hear something before it becomes a part of you? 14. So I used to hear this all the time when we first introduced this curriculum. If we do this curriculum this year, what are we going to do next year? You do it again. See, it takes 14 times. I asked my son one time, I said, Sam, you have this curriculum with me, and then you have it in basketball, and you have it again the next year, and the next year, and the next year. You ever get tired and bored? And he said, you know, Dad, I'm always at a different point. When I hear it, I'm always at a different point. Besides, the coach in basketball goes at it from a totally different angle than you do. And I think that's true. I think that you have to hear something 14 times, and then I think that you're always at a different level. And you glean more or different aspects from each story at each different level. My own son said, you know, Dad, you would start a story and I'd say, man, I've heard this thing 40 times. And it's like you'd say something and I'd say, I never heard that before. My wife and I read Proverbs every morning. There's 31 Proverbs, so each day of the month is another proverb. On the 17th, we read Proverbs 17, obviously, as it goes. We've been doing that for maybe 20 years, maybe longer than that. And what just still amazes me is we'll read a proverb and I'll say, read that again. I don't ever remember that. Sure enough, it was there. 4 levels of knowledge. The number 1 level is you don't know, you don't know. This is most 9th graders and almost all the football and baseball fans in the world. They don't know, they don't know. And that's the truth. When I first started coaching, and I was 22 years old coaching junior high football, I was perfect. A perfect example of they don't know, they don't know. Had no idea what I didn't know. And that's the way people are. You take a 9th grader and they come in, they don't know, they don't know. Football fans, they don't know, they don't know. Now they think they do, but they don't know, they don't know. Melvin Robertson told me one time, he said, you know what's wrong with these players, Coach? And I said, no. He said, they don't know, they don't know. That's what I mean. He said, they don't know what first class is. They don't know what full speed is. They don't know, they don't know. The second level of knowledge is that you know you don't know. When I was a junior high coach, I went to the Henry Franka Clinic in 1973, sat on the front row. Mr. Franka allowed me in because he had been a junior high coach at one time. And he allowed me in and gave me my $50 back, which I was tickled to death to get. Sat on the front row and listened to the Woody Hayes and the Johnny Majors and the Chuck Knoxes of the world. And I thought, you don't know. Now, we had been 9-2 that year in junior high, and I thought I was the next answer to Woody Hayes. I just knew that the Dallas Cowboys were going to call me any day and hire me. And I got to that clinic, and Chuck Knox and these guys started talking about technical football and what you needed to know, and what if they gave you this, and what if you had a cover 2 in this. And I sat there and thought to myself, I will never know what they know. And it dawned on me. I knew that I didn't know. And that was so scary. And I started searching for answers. If you know you don't know, you start looking for answers. The third phase is, you know you know. And the third phase is, when you're a football coach and you know if they give you cover 3, here's what we're going to do. Or here's how we're going to double team block. Or here's how we're going to block. Or here's the way we're going to grade a video. Here's, you know. We know how to evaluate coaches. We know how to evaluate film. We know how we're going to do this. You know. You have a great confidence in what you're doing. You go up to bat and you're in baseball and you've watched the guy before you and he threw 4 straight balls. You know you're not going to swing at the first pitch. He may never get another ball over the plate. You're going to make sure he throws at least 1 strike. You know that you know. The fourth thing is, you don't know, you do know. Don't know, you know. That's kind of silly, isn't it, Coach? No. That's the guys that have spent 10,000 hours practicing. The Michael Jordans of the world. And that's one of the greatest examples, because he was cut, as I'm sure you knew, in sub-varsity basketball and ends up being, if not the greatest basketball player that ever lived, certainly one of the top 5. And he would do something on a basketball floor that would just boggle everybody's imagination. And somebody would say, how did you do that? And he'd be watching the video and he'd say, I don't know. It presented itself, and because he was so fundamentally sound and he was so good at technique, his body reacted. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was one of the greatest running backs that ever played, and retired at a point that he probably could have been the leading rusher in the world. And Barry Sanders would make moves on a football field that would just absolutely amaze you. And people would watch him and they would say, how did you do that? And he'd say, I don't know. Because he worked so hard. He had a drill where they had 5 sets of tires. 2, 1, 2. And he would run right at that middle tire, and a guy would step out from behind the tire, either on the right or the left, and he would cut that way, but he would cut back inside that next set of tires. And he did that drill. He said he couldn't even tell you how many times he did that drill. Why? How did you do that? I don't know. I've done that thing so many times. When it happens, I just do it. Now, don't know you don't know. Don't know you know. That's 10,000 times. When the Beatles, when they sang the songs and they wrote the songs, how did they come up with Imagine? How did Lennon come up with Imagine? I don't know. I was just thinking and the words came. See, when you get to that elite level of 10,000 hours of practice, now you're at the one that don't know you know. And that's where you want to get to. Make it a great day.